cost, and how we get kids to the site. So somewhere within the reauthorization, we really need to look at some of those differentials, and I think the only way to do that is regionally. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, first I'm going to talk about the webinars. I don't know if have we had webinars at the region, particularly to the region? We do. Okay, so how do we post those on the website to let people know? So we do have regional webinars. We also have our national webinars, and I think that, for instance, even if you miss the summer food program webinar, the beauty of the webinar is that you can still access it online and stream it and hear it again. So, Dennis, do you know the website? I mean, is it just on the FNS page, but I don't know if it's a particular area. But my understanding is that those webinars, even if you weren't able to participate, whether it's a regional webinar or a national webinar, again, here's one way that technology is actually a good thing. You can access that webinar, so I encourage you to do that. In terms of, the broad discrepancy between what a rural community is in a state like Arizona and a place with higher density and congestion like the Northeast, absolutely. I mean, there definitely are, greater spans of distance and proximity in the West. However, in just the last few weeks, I was in the south of Texas where, rural communities face very similar issues here in Arizona, and also in the Northeast, sort of in New England and in Vermont. And, transportation is a huge issue, regardless of whether you're in the Northeast or in the West. I mean, transportation is one of the reasons why, for instance, when I was in Texas, eligible participants were not going to the local WIC clinic, even though it was, less than half a mile away, still just getting there. There's no bus route, there's no public transportation route. In answer to that, we are looking at, a couple things. We're looking at how to better experiment during that summer interval. For instance, we're looking at whether, because of the transportation issue, it would be more effective to perhaps supplement the EBT card to cover that interim period to, better provide the household access to food. We're also looking at, possibly backpack and mobile distributions of food. So we don't have those immediate answers today, but we're very cognizant of that issue, and we're looking and exploring different avenues of how to meet those situations. And also, I've been meeting with different organizations across the country that are trying to, provide, for instance, like low-cost transportation. When I was in Texas, I met with a couple of organizations that got together, and it was, like a shuttle service for the airport. And what they did is it wasn't free, but it was very affordable. Like $1 transportation, and they would do collective pickups and collective drop-offs at certain periods of time when they knew that people in those community really needed the transportation. So that's something that I don't know if that's available in your particular area, but if there's a way to, again, creatively figure out how to broker that transportation, we encourage you to do it in the meantime. Another question, another comment? Yes.
Hello. I was just wondering if you have ever tried using public TV or the television for promoting or doing outreach regarding access to the community about all these services. I myself watch TV and I've never seen anything providing information about WIC or SNAP or anything like that on TV.
Great question. Thank you. Well, we have both national media, and then the particular state can also conduct its own media. So, for the Food and Nutrition Service on the national level, a lot of our media is on radio. And one of the reasons why is because it's much less expensive. We wish we had an incredible resource ability to, broadcast nationally television commercials. We are going to do that a little bit. We're looking at strategic markets and doing that, but unfortunately it's very, very expensive. However, radio is great. I mean, radio is, an avenue and a tool that people rely on for local immediate information. I think we actually just started about a month ago those advertisements. I know that they've gone out in places like California and Florida. I'm not too sure about the market here in Arizona. And then we also have lots of tools that are available on our website in English and Spanish. We have a call center that's bilingual. We have videos and flyers and tons of materials and educational tools on the website. Then as far as what the state does, I don't know if Linda can talk a little bit more of that, but the state can also conduct its own advertising and its own outreach, and we have a match program for that. So as far as why you haven't seen an actual television commercial here in Arizona, on our behalf, it's extremely expensive, so unfortunately we really can't afford it. But I don't know if the state has ever considered that, or with this great partnership and Sheltering Arizona, there's a lot of material online, and it is a different medium. But again, a lot of people are online today, including low-income families. It's a wonderful way of providing that information immediately and free. So I also encourage organizations here today to also leverage their internet capacity, because it really is important. Hi.
My name is Deborah Emanuel, and I'm the coordinator of the Verde Food Council. And I have to say, I've only been in this position for a short period of time, but I'm impressed with the number of people in the state that I've met just recently who care so much and who are really coming together to address this issue of childhood hunger. Having said that, we're last in the whole country, and I'm wondering what other states are doing. What can we do? How can we shift our focus? Networking clearly is important, but there must be other things we can do as well.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to talk about Vermont as an example, and I'll talk a little bit more about Texas, because I was there just recently. In Vermont, well, I know that there's a part of the panel discussion, our topic today was really delighted to see on Farm to School, right? I don't know who's presenting that, but that's going to be an exciting presentation. But in a place like Vermont, what they've done is they've leveraged Farm to School. And how many of you are familiar with Farm to School? How many of you know what Farm to School is all about? Okay. Arizona is inherently a very agricultural state, and Farm to School and Know Your Farmer, Know Your Food is another initiative that is very important to supporting local and regional food production. And through those avenues, you can provide produce to local school districts. And it's in a place like Vermont, it's just been an incredible success. And the reason why is that, for one, you're providing those local fresh fruits and vegetables to the school lunch ladies that are preparing healthy, nutritious meals that are also supporting the local economy. One thing that we haven't talked too much about is just the economic stimulus provided by these programs. SNAP, for instance, for every $5 spent in SNAP, it generates almost double of the benefit, $9.20. And in Farm to School, when the local produce is used to sustain local agriculture, it's such a stronger economic benefit to that community. Well, through the exposure of the Farm to School initiative, the children in the particular school districts, they began to learn how food is grown. They began to better understand and be interested in health and nutrition. And so, before you had kids that thought that food came from plastic wrapped up in the supermarket. And, after 6 months, when you start talking to these kids and they understand and they see how the plant, bursts through the soil, and then 6 months later that's actually a part of their lunch. And when you have farmers visiting the classroom and then the classroom visiting the fields, you will see an amazing transformation. And when that transformation began to become very apparent, the community there, got together different organizations, anti-hunger organizations, faith-based organizations, the Boys and Girls Club, even some firehouses got together to provide some immediate entertainment. They, showed the kids the truck and how to operate the horn and that kind of thing. But through those partnerships, they said, let's do a summer food program that only uses the same produce that we're using for Farm to School, that only uses local produce. And because the kids already had, this connection to the local produce and the farmers, well, it dramatically transformed the experience. This was last summer, and last summer's participation in summer feeding. It's not that the participation has doubled, but, it almost came close in the sense that you had more children engaged and also their parents. Because as a result of this process, and again, another opportunity